And good evening to all my graveyard crew, apparently. Guys, I was actually able to sleep for 2 hours this evening, this afternoon. So I feel really good. Plus, my little cup of coffee helps. And I've been, the last 2, 3 hours, I've been working, trying to find some information for you guys to give you. I didn't want to uh, try to go to sleep later tonight, which probably drinking coffee is not going to help anyway. The weird thing is this: I need to be here for you guys during the day, but to be honest, I'm a night person, and so maybe that's probably why I can't sleep that good. But I am always glad to be here. So, welcome, Omar. I see you were the first one in here. Robert, glad you didn't go to sleep yet, old timer. And Mickey Mooney, let's go, baby. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, brother. Hey, well, thank you guys for being here. We got three people on the chat. Let me see. It'll be four people with me here, plus a like. There we go. So this video, I don't even know if we're gonna actually get people to come and watch this video live, but I really wanted to touch up on the app for self deportation. Uh, and I got an update for you guys. I believe Omar was not here. Robert, I'm not sure if you were here in the daytime. We watched a video. We watched a video from the crime chef, of course. And let me see what I put this little clip. Let's see if I can find it again. We probably won't do this one. It's okay. We'll do that for some other time, maybe. Let me take a look at the history here. Now, I'm going to play the clip, but it's not going to be the crime chef. But this video is related. And when you see it, it's going to make sense to you, okay? All right. Let's see. Okay, so Robert was here. Okay. So we got 12 people. Let me see if our sister Trinity is up. You guys know it's her birthday, so she probably it's 3 hours ahead. She's either asleep. We're live if you want to come in. Okay, she's probably going to sleep like Robert. Now I know Saltwater. He's probably asleep already. I know that he can't join us late at night. But here's this video, right? Because we've been doing a lot of search, and we've been watching videos and things like that. But you know, the leftists, they never want to believe that what we're doing is the right thing for our country. Now I think it's very important that we understand what's actually happening. You know, the whole time, you guys already know that the people are always going to claim victimhood. They're always going to say, we didn't do nothing, right? That is what they say. Don't touch me. They think that their soldiers are there to take a licking and keep on ticking. Well, that's not how it works. As citizens, we need to be respectful. Hey, Leo, Washington State, my friend. I think he might be going deeper with that question. Honduras. Yeah, Honduras. There you go. There is a delay from the time that I answer, so you might get that answer before or after you type in your comment. Okay, so I want to show you this video here. Now, this is not the crime chef. This is a different guy. But this is actually what happened, right? So I shows up. A Mayan Spaniard mix. We are Lencas from my father's side. So we watched this video. Hey, sis, how are you? How was your birthday today? Everything all good? Renee, how are you? How are you, my big bro? How are you? How is California today? Let's go ahead and say hello to my family here. Brian, what's up? I think Omar was here too. I'm not sure. I don't remember, to be honest. I don't remember who was here in the early day live. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to hear it. Happy Dog, thank you for letting me know. YouTube sucks. Well, I know that you're 3 hours ahead. I wasn't going to go live, honestly. I wasn't going to go live. But, sometimes I'm doing research and it's like, you know what? Maybe I should just go live anyway. Maybe they want to hear this information. Maybe not. Maybe it's boring, whatever. But the purpose of this live is we're going to talk about the app to self deport, and maybe, who knows? Maybe this helps people understand. I am trying to find ways to make people understand that it's not racist. It's not a hateful thing. It is a national security risk, and it really is. And anybody that comes to the border illegally, they're committing a crime, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony. It doesn't matter. You're breaking the law, and once you're in here, how are you going to work? If you work, that's another tag on your name, and that is means for deportation, etc. It's a whole thing. Okay, it is a whole thing. So I know my patrons already know this. You guys support that. But for some reason, these other citizens, they just don't get it. I want you to pay attention to this video, okay, before we get into that. And I want you to listen to how these people think. Now, we watched the video earlier from the crime chef, right? Okay, watch this. This is going to be about the same, but watch the difference. I'll point them out as we go, okay? And we got about 50 people. Okay, let's go with that. Here we go. Unless you guys have a question or anything like that. Let me see if I can sign into this chat. What's going on here? What's crazy is, I guess I can. I guess I could. I guess I can put you guys over here so I can type to your messages. Let me do a little quick test. Oh, look at that! Every time somebody comes in to the chat, it says, "Welcome all. Please remember to abide by the rules, be civil and respect, and stick to the topic." I don't think they ever read that message. They never stay civil and respectful, and they never stick to the topic. What is the point of me putting this in here if they're not going to listen? Okay. All right, so got it. Let me just do a quick test. Trinity. Oh, there we go. That's going to be a lot easier for me to reply to everybody. Okay. There we go. Love ya. Bam. All right, good. Okay, so got logged in, so I don't need to use my laptop to type you guys a message. I can move this over here, so I can move my mouse to the right. I'm right-handed, of course. Okay, who else? Do we got anybody new? Okay, Christopher, how are you? The American Gestapo. We'll see if it's a Gestapo, but thank you. Thank you for joining. Mario Burgos. They want to start a new life. I understand, Mario, but we can't do it illegally, okay? We can't do it illegally, brother. Please understand that. Tish, how are you? Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Christopher says, Trump bootlickers, civil and respectful. Yeah, that's about the right touch of medicine from the leftists. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. All right, let me move this. You know what? I think I know what I'm going to do here. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. I'm going to put you here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, that way I can see this. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, perfect. All right. All right, here we go. 75 people. Let's see if we get to 100. Let's see if we can get to 100. 100 people. This topic is very important, and I really want a lot of leftists to come in here. So, guys, Do not kick anybody out. Put up with the little insults. I will make sure they're reported for it. But just don't kick anybody out. I really want them to see what we see, and then hopefully maybe this will, maybe this will help us understand situations better. Okay, I am hoping. I am hoping. Brian says, Christopher, I can't understand you with that foot in your mouth. Very civil and respectful, guys. Very civil and respectful. Renee says, thank you, Christopher, for joining the club. We will teach you what's going on in the country. You will get honest, true facts here, Christopher, at the Dennis Herrera Show. I love it. Renee, I love Renee, man. He's one of my older brothers in South California. Of course, all of my brothers in my chat here are brothers by patriotism. We won't kick anyone at all. Let's go. Well, yeah, thank you for calling me that, but you actually are the boss. I respect your opinion more than my own, to be honest, Trinity. That's why I love you very much. It's so crazy, right? Like, we've known each other for, what, 3 months, 4 months now, since you came into my channel, and I just feel like I connected with you right away. So I appreciate relationships, friendships. They're fantastic. They're phenomenal. It's good to hang out with people that think like you do, because it helps me get even smarter when I hang out with smart people. It helped me get wiser when I listen to wise people. But then again, we got wise asses, which is not the same, like Christopher here. Dennis, you talk crap. As soon as I say your name, you're right. I shouldn't say your name anymore. That's too much crap. Dale. Dale, brother, dale. We're gonna tell the truth here. Here we go, guys. I don't think we're gonna make 100, guys. I don't think we're gonna make 100. I don't think we're gonna make 100. But okay, we'll just get started with the video, and we're gonna point out a couple of things. Now, I'm not gonna say anything. No, I'm not making promises. I'm going to point out some stuff in the video. Here we go, guys. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Leo Lopez, true facts, not fake facts like fake news. See, there is news and there's fake news, and there's facts and there's fake facts. We put it that way so that you guys can understand it. But we know that's not what how it's called. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get on with it.
Be deployed! Gas, gas!
2 times. Gas will be deployed. Get back.
Gas!
Look at all these people defending the neighborhood, or are they defending the neighborhood? Viewer discretion is advice. You may get triggered. Try to control your emotional state, okay? Try to control yourself. Just listen. Try to relax. Keep an open mind. And don't react too much to what you see. All right? That will help you understand what's happening. Here we go.
There's children! Get back! Stop! Stop!
Now, it doesn't show in the video, but the reason why she's saying stop, please don't attack, is because they're throwing ice pieces, not soft snowballs, ice at ice. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. And so they're attacking the federal agents, which is also an assault, and they all can be arrested if they get caught by federal agents doing it. Now, the video does show a couple of people throwing stuff at them, but they're not there to arrest just anybody. They are here for a specific reason. Spoiler alert. They say that the ICE agents rammed somebody's car. We'll get to it.
Watch out! Gas! Gas! Go!
I want to point out that all these people do not need to be out here being exposed to gas or anything that these federal agents will use to defend themselves and to keep the perimeter clear. By the way, the moment that you grab that and you throw it back at them, you can be arrested.
Don't throw! Oh, it's under the car. It's under the car.
You guys see the ice being thrown at them, right? This guy right here with the megaphone just went over there and hit the window for the ICE agent car.
Back up or gas will be deployed! Gas, gas, gas!
So they're insulting ICE agents. You know, they see them in there. Of course, legacy media tells them this. You got so many bias, some fake news, and then you have criminals, and then you have illegal immigrants, and then you have the crazy leftists all the time putting fear into people, and it doesn't need to happen. It is very civil. They'll come in there and they will take people that are criminals. And if anybody is illegal and have an order of removal, they will be deported. We will touch more into that when we get to the app. But for now, I want you to pay attention to all of this commotion because it seems like somebody is at war in a third world country, but it doesn't need to be. And these people think that they are over here protecting their community. Let's find out what that community really is protecting.
Back up! Back up now! Stay there!
Do not attack the agent!
Okay, so that's that version of the video. I have another one. Spoil alert. The spoil alert. This is I think this is the guy that was asking questions to the lady with the phone earlier that we saw in the live today. If you missed that live today earlier, you missed a good one. You should go back and watch it. And guys, number one, before we go ahead and continue this, I want to say thank you so much for liking my videos. And if you haven't hit that yet, why don't you go ahead and double tap that screen if you're on your phone, hit that like button, subscribe if you like what I'm talking, if you believe that I'm telling the truth, subscribe, become members if you choose to support me even farther. Thank you to my members for supporting me every month. I appreciate you. I love the family vibes that we get in our chat. And I'm not talking about the leftists that come and hate us. I'm talking about all my patriots that are supporting me. With that being said, I want to go ahead and before we continue, if you are new to my channel, you're going to have to put up with this because I do want to make sure that my members get honored. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know I didn't do it earlier today, but once in a while, I'm going to throw it out there. I know some of you guys, some of the people that I have as members, they drop off because it's a monthly thing. It does auto renew. I don't know if there's an option to keep auto renew or not, but I do catch members resubscribing again. I haven't looked into it too much because I haven't really looked to gather members for money. I really want to gather patriots so that we can go ahead and discuss what we are seeing happening in our great nation. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Somebody pray for me. Where is it? Somebody in here pray for me, I think, as I was looking at the video here. Who was it? Trinity just spammed that thing in there with with the emojis, which I love, by the way. Let's see. Sheila, I think it was. Yeah, love you. God bless you and your family in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that. It's like refreshing. It's like fresh water in the desert. And I appreciate that. What the hell happened to my chat? I'm going to have to go find my chat again. There we go. I had to keep adjusting something here so that I don't lose you guys. I know it doesn't make sense to you guys, but trust me, it makes sense to me. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Okay. So, all right, here we go. This is the video that I want you to actually listen to, okay? And pay attention to a couple of things. Here we go.
Left the area. Now, things are calm out here in this neighborhood in Elgin, but it was certainly tense between protesters and federal agents. At some points, we even saw clouds of tear gas taking over this area. You could see in the video, crowd there with canisters of tear gas being deployed, and even some children were in the crowd when that happened. Now, Elgin police tells us this actually all started this morning around 9, as they say a federal agent called the department to report that they were involved in a traffic crash while conducting immigration enforcement near West Highland Avenue. Now, police say the agents reported that a person fled that area, ended up here near Maple Lane. Elgin police says shortly after that, several residents called them about agents being in the area, stating that they had a warrant. There was also reports of shots fired on this block. Elgin police determined that was not the case. They did determine that federal agents dispersed chemical agents, and local police had to provide medical treatment to those who were exposed to it before they left the area. Now, it's not clear if federal agents actually detained anyone. We did reach out to DHS for details, have not heard back on that. Protesters, though, of course, were upset with these immigration operations, as we've seen in recent months, including Illinois Senator Christina Castro.
I was out there, got some of it, made sure people were safe. People deserve the right to due process here. And here they are disturbing my city, my hometown, where I've been born and raised, striking fear amongst the Elginites that are here. And you know what? They just need to go home, go away.
So federal agents, ICE agents that are trying to clean up our streets from terrorists, criminals, this mayor says they just need to go away. She's failing her city. She is failing her town. Listen to this responsible mother, what happened. Very responsible mother.
I was able to get everybody off to one side and then realized my 3-year-old was gone and she was in the middle of the tear gas.
Her 3-year-old was in the middle of the tear gas. What a great mom. You know, with mothers like this, who needs predators?
Amongst the Elginites that are here, and you know what? They just need to go home, go away.
I was able to get everybody off to one side and then realized my 3-year-old was gone and she was in the middle of the tear gas. Somebody scooped her up and got her out of the way.
Somebody scooped her up and got her out of the way. Imagine somebody just grabbed her with the tear gas. Nobody's going to say anything because they're going to think that that person is trying to help this child. And what would be her excuse in here? They're going to blame ICE for that?
Now, Elgin police did not report any serious injuries from all of this. Again, it is quiet out here now in this neighborhood. You can still smell that lingering tear gas in the air. Elgin police tells us that they will continue to take these calls for service, but under the Illinois Trust Act, they will continue to not help out with federal immigration operations.
That's it. Now, here we go. Time to do some reading. Now, I don't know if you guys can actually read that, but let me try to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Here we go. Suspected Tren gang member released into the country by the Biden administration rams law enforcement officer vehicle into a tree in Elgin. If you watched the video earlier in the live today, the people in the crowd, they were making assumptions that the ICE federal agents actually rammed some illegal guy off the road, but it was the other way around. It was this suspected Tren guy that actually rammed into the ICE agent's vehicle and it hit a tree. Now, let's see. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested Luis Jesus Acosta Gutierrez, an illegal alien from Venezuela and suspected member of Tren. ICE officers attempted to conduct a vehicle stop, at which point Acosta resisted arrest by intentionally ramming an officer's vehicle into a tree. Thankfully, the officer sustained no injuries. Acosta then fled on foot and barricaded himself into an apartment of a person he did not know. The suspected gang member came out of the apartment's balcony and officers tried to negotiate with him to leave the apartment. During this time, a large crowd of agitators formed and began throwing rocks and bottles at law enforcement officers. The local police department refused to protect ICE law enforcement officers. Now, what's crazy is that the police officers were getting cussed at, they were getting yelled at because they were not doing anything against the federal ICE agents. Well, they were not doing anything against the people, apparently. After several hours of negotiating, ICE officers safely took Acosta into custody. This suspected Tren gang member was not only released into our country by the Biden administration, but also granted temporary protected status. This, yet again, underscores the serious lack of vetting by the Biden administration, one of the million of aliens they allowed to come into the country, said Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Thankfully, under President Trump and Secretary Noem, this administration terminated his TPS, arrested him, and removed them from our streets. We are grateful all of our officers are safe after yet another vehicle was used as a weapon against them and more rioters threw rocks and bottles at them. Our officers are experiencing more than 1,150%, more than 1,150,000%, more than 1,150% increase in assaults against them as they put their lives on the line to arrest the worst of the worst criminals, illegal aliens. This violence against law enforcement must stop. This suspected Tren gang member entered the country illegally in April 2023 and was released by the Biden administration. Then the Biden administration granted him temporary protective status. This once again shows the lack of vetting. That's the true story behind it. So all those people, the Gestapo, Yeah, that's the Gestapo. That is exactly what people on the street are protecting. And what's crazy is that these people, they don't know who they're protecting. See, the vetted system is there so that we know who's coming in here. When you or anybody supports illegal immigrants coming into this country, you are allowing criminals to also come in infiltrated. You are allowing for human trafficking. There is people desperate. They will swear their family. They will swear their kids are theirs. Kids don't know. They're innocent. They're trained. They're told not to say anything. They're told to say what they need to say. You cannot believe the danger that comes into this country. Either that or people, they just don't care. They just don't care what happens to us. They don't care what happens to innocent children. They don't care what happens to women. It is the reality of the world that we live in. Now, with that being said, this is the app. And I'm going to make it smaller so that you guys can see that. But I will read what's in this website. The Department of Homeland Security has announced a historic opportunity for illegal aliens to receive cost-free travel, forgiveness of any failure to depart fines, and a $1,000 extra bonus to facilitate travel back to their home country or another country where they have lawful status through the CBP Home mobile app. Damn. So not only are they allowed to be forgiven fines, not only are they allowed to go whatever they want as long as they got legal status in that particular place. Man, that sounds very good to me. That sounds good. I don't see anything wrong with that. Here are some of the incentives. Using the CBP Home mobile app to self-deport includes the following incentives. Deprioritized for detention and removal by ICE, meaning that they won't come after you. They trust that you're going to follow the law and the steps that they are now allowing you to follow. So please educate friends that you may know that could be illegal. This could be something very nice for them. What are the requirements for U.S. citizens? Elaborate on that question, Iceman. Trinity is the boss of this chat. Trinity is in control of the chat. This is her chat. Do you have any other questions there, Mr. Bill? Let's see. So go ahead and tell me, what are the requirements for U.S. citizenship? What? Are you asking me, Iceman? Because I know you're not asking me. Maybe you're asking somebody else. Okay. Okay. Anyway. The financial and travel document assistance for those in need. Illegal aliens who register for voluntary self-deport through the CBP Home mobile app will receive cost-free travel, a $1,000 extra bonus, and forgiveness of any failure to depart fines. Illegal aliens requesting assistance will have a timely departure arranged for them. The CBP Home mobile app allows illegal aliens to plan their return, including having an opportunity to depart in a timely manner, allowing illegal aliens to wrap up work, school, and personal matters and organize their return in orderly and lawful way. So they are giving, they're giving, actually, that's pretty good. That's actually very good. Live safely, travel normally. The CBP Home program lets eligible aliens return home as regular travelers without arrest, without detention, or any restraints. It's a safe, orderly alternative that provides assistance and flexibility with no fear, no chaos, no problems. Nobody's harassing you. You're going to sit in a nice plane, relax. You don't have to go through days of horrible migration and dangers that you're going to be robbed or mugged or your kids taken away from you on the way back home. Safe. Very nice. Forgiveness of fines. You will have civil fines for failure to depart after a final order of removal or a voluntary departure order in the U.S. completely forgiven. you will not have to pay any of those fines. So you find some forgiveness in the program. The CBP home mobile app has been redesigned to make voluntary self-deportation easier than ever before. Here are some key updates. Simple questionnaire takes only minutes to fill out. A streamlined data collection, only the essentials, nothing extra. Privacy-conscious design, no need to enter eight numbers or other personal identifiers. If you are an illegal alien, use the CBP Home mobile app to leave the U.S. on your own terms. Download the app, select your language, fill out required information, and submit a current self-photo. If applicable, any additional family members. Remember, we're trying not to separate families. And then submit to the CBP homepage. All right? Who qualifies for this incentive? Now, this is very important. So there is still going to be B-Moors. Renee is not a butt. He is my brother from South California. The below categories qualify for incentives. Non-criminal illegal aliens in the United States who had an encounter with CBP either at a port of entry or between ports of entry. So if you are a criminal, SOL, you will get picked up, and you better find a way to go back home somehow. But most likely you will be arrested and you will be treated like an actual criminal. Everybody else, of course, will have the dignity and the decency, and it will not be held against you. It's actually very, very kind. No country in the world does that. Categorically parolees whose legal presence in the United States has expired or will soon expire. Aliens whose temporary protected status is terminated. So if there is a lot of people from Haiti that protected, the PTS has been expired, Honduras, whatever, any TPS holder, if it's expired, now you don't have to be afraid. Now you can self-deport. They'll give you time to get your things in order, and that you can go ahead and make a safe move out of this country and back to the country where you love and belong. Okay? What are the benefits of participating? Well, let me go ahead and tell you since you asked. Here we go. Using the CBP Home mobile app to self-deport offers the following incentives for illegal aliens in the United States of America. $1,000 exit bonus. The exit bonus will be provided upon confirmation through the app that return has been completed. Travel assistance. Illegal aliens who register for voluntary self-departure through the CBP Home mobile app will receive travel assistance, such as arranging travel for their children or extended family or obtaining valid travel documents. Aliens requesting assistance will have a timely departure arranged for them. Estimated departure to be within 21 days of approval. Illegal aliens in need of assistance should take extra care to ensure they provide accurate contact information and are responsive to outreach attempts. Forgiveness of any failure to depart fines. So people that have been here for 20, 30 years, if they took the chance to self-deport, they don't have to worry about fines. They don't have to worry about those felonies or misdemeanors, whatever you want to call them in here. Banning from being, the actual chance of being banned from this country. They will get all that stuff wiped away. I think it's very nice. Deprioritization for enforcement actions, detention and removal by ICE. You will not be hunted down like a dog, like a criminal. You will have the decency of any human that has human rights. Once illegal aliens submit their intent to depart through the CBP Home mobile app and pass vetting, they will be deprioritized by ICE for enforcement action, detention and removal before their scheduled departure. Any questions so far? No, Robbie, they're still illegal. Just because you were here for 20 years illegally doesn't make you anything in this country. You are still an illegal alien who is 20 years late for departure, for deportation. See, that's the thing that people don't get it, man. You get this privilege. See, it's not a right. It's not a right. It's not what you want. You have to earn it. You got to ask. Brian 489, is that your new username? Let's see. Frank says, I don't understand human rights or United States of American rights. Human rights, you get to be treated with decency, with respect. You get to be treated like a human. If you're hungry, yeah, if you need help, they will help you. But here's the problem. It doesn't work the way you think it works. So in order for somebody to come into our country, they have to be qualified to be in our country. They have to prove that they can self-sustain, that they can be independent, that they're not going to come over here and be on welfare. That is one of the requirements. This is why they vet people and they find out, okay, do you have enough financial, economic way to support yourself in the country? First of all, you have to be honest. If you're trying to come to the United States of America with the intention to stay, you have to state that in your application. And if you are denied, that is your due process in the American embassy in the country where you are actually from. If you don't qualify, that doesn't mean you go to the border illegally and then put your family in jeopardy and be put through all kinds of different bad actions against you. Okay? So that's how that works. If you want to come here to visit, then say you want to come and visit. There is a lot of people that come here and visit. Thanks for subscribing. There's a lot of people that come here to visit and they overstay their visa. See, right off the bat, two things are wrong. One of them, you lied at the American embassy in your country. And number two, now you have become an illegal immigrant in this country and are subject to fines and for immediate deportation with a chance of being banned from ever re-entering the country. So those are the two first things that you're going to look for. Now, I think a lot of people don't know this, but if you come to the United States of America and you come and visit and you come in and out and you respect the law for whatever time you have, you can apply for residency even if you're out of the country. You fill out your information, you tell them where you're gonna live, you want to be able to work. Most likely you will have to have some work visa so that you can be here working for a season and then going back to your country. You can apply for a green card at that time. If you are a criminal, forget about it. This is what vetting is all about. Vetting is going to tell us if you are a murderer, if you have been convicted of any type of felonies in your country. Now, what the United States of America wants is to make sure everybody is vetted. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, this is awesome. Being able to offer a way for people to self-deport with decency. You can take your children, your family members, everybody. You get to go ahead 21 days. You get 3 weeks to get your situation in order. You can sell your stuff. You can package it. You can ship it. You can do whatever you need to do within those 21 days. A lot of Mexicans have self-deported, and I'm going to tell you this. Mexico is allowing for Mexican citizens to go back to Mexico without any importing tariff or taxes or fees, whatever you want to call it. We call it an introduction charge in Honduras. So Mexico is doing something to help their Mexican citizens. So I have heard stories from people that have sold everything they got. They go back to Mexico with $30,000. They drive themselves back there. And Mexico allows them to bring in washer, dryers, fridge, any type of valuable that you have. And it doesn't matter. You don't pay a introductory charge or a tariff. So that's actually pretty nice. It's very nice. Now, for people that are down and farther from Mexico, the problem is that, yeah, you can still drive all the way down through Central America, etc. But then you're charging that somebody's going to rob you, mug you, or something on the way there. So, the best thing for those kind of people is you can ship stuff to your country, and then you can take the flight, which will be provided for you, which I think is pretty cool. Will be provided to you with traveling documents so that nobody bugs you, and then you're safely arriving in your country, and you can have your personal belongings up there as well. I think it's very civil. I think it's very nice. Why would people have a problem with that? I don't understand. This is not your country. Respect the people there. Come on. All these mayors that keep saying that ICE is over there causing, violence or disturbance or whatever in their communities. Who the hell are they? Do they even care about the safety of the American people? Why are you defending criminals? This is a Trinidad guy that was in this neighborhood. We don't know what he's capable of doing. We don't know what horrific crimes he can commit. That whole neighborhood could have been in jeopardy because of this criminal. And people are out there hating the wrong people. Like, for example, in here, thank you for removing that dumbass. For example, people here that says, okay, you know what? Deport Dennis. Okay, sure. You're talking about the wrong guy, buddy. You don't deport citizens. Citizens get arrested because they're out there obstructing justice. They're obstructing federal investigations. People don't understand how serious it is to assault a federal agent. And I, you know what? In some ways, I wish people would get more violent so that they can get their asses arrested and being sent to jail. Yeah, that's right, Patata. That is on the website. Anybody can find this information. As an immigrant, I know the laws, the rules, and the regulations. I know the cheaters. And I know the ones that respect the law. I know what is a reward and what is a consequence to the actions that we take. I will recommend you do everything legally in order so that you never have to be fearful no matter where you are. Yeah, you know what? If I was to go to Honduras and live in Honduras, I would still make the show. I would still give the same advice. I would still recommend people to respect the law. It doesn't matter where you go. You got to respect the law. You don't just do it for yourself. You do it for your children. You actually do it for your country. Do you think it's shameful that people break the law to come in here and then wave the flag of their country? They're just shaming the country because they're criminals. You're breaking federal law in another country. You're working, you have a felony on you for working illegally in this country and working with somebody else's paper. And then you want to wave that country's flag. All you're doing is embarrassing that country. Well, except for the corrupted government, they like to have your remittances. They like to have your money being sent down there. So they will protect you in some way. Sometimes I feel like the government makes it difficult for their citizens, so they are forced to flee, come to the States, and receive that $63 billion every year into the Honduras economy. I find that very interesting. Now, I don't care how you feel about anything that I tell you here. If I'm driving by a nice neighborhood and I see a beautiful mansion with a big yard and it's just a long driveway, it's just amazing, I want it. That doesn't mean that I get to go drive in there and trespass and make myself at home, pitch a tent in the yard. No, unless I have permission to be there, I cannot go into that property. It is the same thing when you come into this country. You know, I am really surprised that they are not shooting people with live ammunition at the border. I think Poland does that. I think President Trump should be more like the Poland president. Live ammunition if you cross the border illegally. Thankfully, The wall has been holding, even though there is some holes here and there. They have the border more under control. There is a lot of things happening right now in the world. I hope that everything that I have read in here, and there's more questions. If you have questions like, what if I don't use the CBP Home Mobile app to voluntarily self-deport? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you are unlawful residing in the United States, ICE will continue to prioritize your removal. This is a process that often results in detention and rapid removal and could result in a permanent bar to re-enter the United States of America. So I hope that you understand this. If you self-deport, you will be allowed to come back into the country the right way. But in order for that, you have to remember, you have to be vetted, right? They will vet you. This is why you're allowed to come back. They will vet you, meaning that they'll check your criminal background, okay? If there is nothing here in the United States of America, when you go back to your country, you have to be vetted over there as well. You got to have a criminal background check. You got to have everything, health, everything checked in your country. And the reason why they do that is because of what you see today. Something that Robbie put in here, right? 20 to 30 years. This person should stay here. No, that's not how that works. The reason why they've been here for that long, it could be two reasons. One of them, they've been hiding. They've been working under the table, probably not paying taxes, maybe using somebody else's information, putting somebody else's credit or life in danger or in jeopardy. You can name whatever you want. But the fact is that we do not have the right resources in this country to vet every single illegal immigrant from other countries. I think I'm speaking slow enough to make sense. So it is very important. Vetting, high priority. Vetting. No criminals should come into this country. No drug dealers. You know what vetting does? We have caught Mexican cartels at the airport flying from Mexico to the United States of America. And you know what they found? Some of the workers at the airport were involved on allowing all these drugs to come through the airport legally on a plane. Nobody says anything. They got employees at the airport in Mexico, at the immigration in Mexico, and then they got employees here at the immigration in Houston or in Miami. Corruption is everywhere. Whether you are a citizen, it doesn't matter. They arrested American citizens linked with cartel, Sinaloa cartel, here in Seattle, Washington. Thousands of pounds of cocaine and fentanyl with money, dirty money, drug money. So it doesn't matter if you're an illegal immigrant or a citizen of the United States of America. A lot of people become citizens of this country just to take advantage of the benefits. One of the reasons why Democrats allow mass illegal immigration is because they benefit from that. Look what has happened today in our country. Miami has been given to a Democrat female, which is okay. Who knows? Maybe she's good. Maybe she's not part of the corrupted politicians in the Democrat Party that we need to get rid of. Maybe she's going to be just like Senator Fetterman, right? Maybe this person is going to be good for Miami. Republicans are slacking. If they don't do the work, they need to get the hell out. I agree. Remember, this is not a channel for Democrats or Republicans. This is a channel for patriots that want to put America first. And in order for you to understand what it means to put America first, you have to understand sometimes we got to do things internationally in order to affect what's happening nationally. You understand that? So a lot of people just say, oh, America first. What about Israel? America first. What about Ukraine? Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. She complained about President Donald Trump going around the world trying to make peace agreements. Cambodia and Thailand, they're falling apart again. I heard that they're attacking each other again. Ukraine and Russia, why is it continue to happen? Europeans, they're still buying oil from Russia. They are basically funding the attack on the Ukrainians. That's why. You think China might not be having a hand into that? Who knows? Maybe. But Americans don't think about other things that are you know, affecting what's happening in our country. So if you've been here the whole time since we started, I gave you everything that illegal immigrants can do to be able to go back home safely together. They can have snacks. They can have roll-ups. They can have soda. They can have a drink in the flight. They can have anything. Food, snacks, boom. Nice little trip going back to their country. I'm telling you, and I know you're not going to believe me, but if we would have, well, we never would have because my mother, but if we were illegal in this country, I would love that opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'm a hard worker. I broke the law. That's wrong. This truly is a great country that allows me to redeem myself, allows me to keep my family together, allows me to get my things in order, and even rewards me with a free travel and $1,000 bonus once I land in the country that I should have never left. That, my friends, it's an amazing feeling. And if you are an American, you should be proud of being an American because of that. With that being said, when people come in here telling me that I'm a liar, when they say that we have no feelings, that we are just horrible, no empathy, deport, you can say anything you want. But nothing is going to change the truth from being the truth. And the truth is, nobody should be in this country illegally. There has been many different situations where somebody, it's illegal for 20, 30 years. They could have fixed papers. Why they didn't is beyond me. But the fact is, it doesn't matter how long you have been in this country. I hope that during that time that you were in this country, that you were able to buy a home in your country of birth, that you were able to save some money to invest in the future in your native country, if that happens to be the end for your life. I don't mean death. I mean the end of your life here in the United States of America and going back to your country. I would think that anybody that has been here for 20, 30, 40 years, that they'll be happy that they can self-deport. And you know what? Retire. Retire at home. Retire. If you were born in a country, that's where you belong. If you were given the opportunity to go to another country and they accepted you as one of their own, then that's where you belong. I don't know where my future is going to be. I don't know if my future is going to be here in the United States of America. I don't know if it's going to be in Honduras. Definitely not Mexico. That's not my country. But either way, I'm going to tell you a story. Is Kennedy here today? He's probably already asleep. I'm not sure what time he is. Kennedy. I don't think I've seen Kennedy here. Okay, I'll say that story next time I see Kennedy. Hopefully I remember. But if there is any other Democrats in here, okay, that, well, you know, they used to be Democrats or are still Democrats but are supporting America First, Make America Great Again, okay? That's a way of life. That's not a slogan. This is a way of life slogan that we got from Ronald Reagan. And President Donald Trump is still using it today. He believes on that yet. So here's a story. When I was a child, I remember watching this story, and it was called the Ugly Duckling. Now I've seen the I think it was Disney that made the cartoon, but as far as I remember that the little ducklings were yellow, right? As they all are when they're chicks. And there was this big head white duckling, and they call him the ugly duckling. And so the kids will, as they're growing up, they're playing together, and well, he's odd looking. He's oversized. He's a different color, and the ducklings, they will just go quack quack, and he'll go quack, like that. And they're like, well, what the hell is wrong with this guy, And so they treat him different. They didn't appreciate him when this ugly duckling was with them, because they thought he was ugly. They didn't care about it. Eventually, they end up playing in the little pond, and they get mad at him, and they kick him off the family. This is what Democrats do with the people that want to stand for America. They kick them off their party. They force people out of their party by breaking laws, becoming criminals, started being hateful. They're hypocrites, etc. And so this ugly duckling goes out and he starts crying and blah, blah, blah. Well, eventually, one of the tears falls into the water as he's looking down, and his face is all distorted. So he starts crying even louder because he looks so ugly in the water. And then as he starts crying, another duckling that looked just like him, another big head white duck, comes over and says, quack, invites him to come and play with them. And there's another one, and they come together, and all of a sudden, all these ugly ducklings, right, that everybody on the other side with this little green and black and the little yellow fur, for the little chicks, they're up there laughing, probably making fun of them, because these ugly ducklings are big and white and so plain, right? And then as they are playing, the mom calls the ugly ducklings. And then, of course, as soon as they all listened, they left him. And so he was sad again. This is such a powerful story. I wish I can say it better. But the ugly duckling gets abandoned, supposedly, by the other ones that look just like him. And while he's crying, while he's sobbing, thinking that he's ugly, that he is not worthy of being in this life, he feels this big, huge wing, a beautiful swan, and just grabs him and pushes him in closer into her bosom. Turns out that ugly duckling was actually a chick from a beautiful, gorgeous to be swan. And when the other ducks from the other tribe with the little yellow fur and their little duck mother saw him, they call at him and say, hey, come back to us. We're sorry, come back to us. The ugly duckling, which is a beautiful swan to be, just went, and then just stay with the new family. All of the Democrats that come into our family, you are not an ugly duckling. You guys are the pride of the United States of America, and you guys are special. And every person, every foreigner that comes from another country should respect you, should respect the law, and none of you should give in to this victim mentality of this guilt that they try to put on you. You need to stay firm. How many parents do we have in this room that when they discipline their children, it hurts them? It hurts the parents. We don't want to see our children cry, but we know that if we don't discipline them, they will turn out to be bad citizens in the future, and we do not want them to suffer. It is in the same manner that I say, if you really love your neighbor, you're going to be honest with them. You're going to tell them the consequences for being here illegally, and you're going to tell them the rewards for working hard and continue to work hard. I will say this, instead of being pro-illegal immigration, why don't we just come together as we have done this for many decades? Why don't we come together and truly go and help these people if they really are in need? You will find this. If you go to Honduras, you will find that there's still millions of Hondurans making it every day, working hard. They have their businesses. It's not as pretty as here when it comes to, like, business-wise. They hustle. They do what they can. And I can tell you, they live well off. Do they live looking at the grass on the other side, the United States of America? No, they don't. They are happy having their family together. They are happy that they're able to work and they're able to be rewarded by the sacrifice, by the sweat of their forehead. And they enjoy the fruits of their labor. Those people have their families together. Those people have something to be very happy about. And that, to me, my friends, it's the real American dream, that you can live anywhere in your country and make it happen. I have always been a big believer that we help a lot of people. But the problem is that when we start giving handouts, people become dependent on those handouts. You guys already know the saying. If you give a man a fish and you don't teach them how to fish for themselves, every time you come around, they will expect a fish from you. But if you teach them how to fish, they will no longer be dependent on you, and they will be so much happier and proud of who they have become, for they will truly be free and independent. You see, if you live in the free country of the United States of America, I understand that you can get SNAP benefits. I understand that you can get some assistance. That's totally fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But when you are dependent on that system, you, my friend, can become a slave of the system. See, you're not a slave because you're working overtime and working your tail off at work. Because you can always choose to work somewhere else, or you can work for yourself, which, by the way, it seems to be less and less likely that people want to do that, because socialist, Marxist, communists are taking over our cities and states. People think that this is a problem with just Democrats against Republicans. No, it's not. It's more than that. It's all about patriotism. The land that forgets the priorities of why they are patriots. The land that forgets that being a citizen is a privilege, not a right. I think those people are more prone to be lied to. We saw that lady. She lost her 3-year-old daughter in a smoke of tear gas. She didn't even know. By the time she noticed, she was in the cloud with tear gas, and someone else grabbed that child and took him to safety. Think about that. Think about the logic. These people are actually putting themselves and their families in danger by retaliating against federal ICE agents who are only there to enforce the law, to keep you safe, to keep us safe. That is the truth of what's happening. Now, I want to go ahead and give you guys a little extra if you haven't watched this. This is a clip from Fox. I haven't seen it, so if you want to, you can stay here with me and we can watch it together. But I really hope that what I said today about the self-deportation makes more sense. We might have to go through this session again and again and again and again. We got to let the word out. If you don't want me to do this kind of live videos, share the video. Let's make it go viral. And then maybe the word gets out. That is not just about being here illegally. That is not just about my human rights. It's about respecting the law. Bottom line, that's exactly what we are shooting for. I want to share with you guys some of my shorts. One of them, it's going to be Marjorie Trader Green. And people still don't understand why we call her a traitor. Obviously, we don't really mean traitor to the country, etc. Just traitor to a friendship, to the president that gave her position. and to the American people whom she says that she supports. This is her.
You say the president put your life in danger. You blame him. You say he fueled a hotbed of threats against me, and that you blame him for the threats against your son.
The subject line for the direct death threats on my son was his words, Marjorie Trader Greene.
So by President Donald Trump using words like that, she's blaming him for people threatening the life of his child. Very interesting. Now, why do they have to go and run after them and handcuff them and do all these other crazy things? Because people keep defending illegal immigrants and criminals. Some of these criminals are hardcore criminals, and you guys are guilty. Well, not you guys, but people are guilty for defending and the criminals and stopping ICE agents. So how do we fix not being arrested by ICE? How do we avoid ICE? Well, our beautiful Senator Kennedy has the best way to put it.
They think vetting people at the border is racist. They're entitled to their opinions, but they've got to follow the law. And all we're doing is enforcing the law. Look, the best way to avoid ICE is don't be in our country illegal. Duh.
Very simple. Best way to avoid ICE, don't be in our country illegally. Duh. That is the information that I got for you guys there. And with that, we can actually go into our clip, the extra clip of the night. We're almost done, so don't despair, my patriots. This was supposed to be a very short live, to be honest.
New video as the U.S. seizes an oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast. President Trump did not say why, but he did say, quote, other things are happening. The administration has been striking alleged narco-terrorist vessels near Venezuela and is putting heavy pressure on disputed President Nicolas Maduro. Senior foreign policy correspondent Jillian Turner starts us off tonight from the State Department. Good evening, Jillian.
Good evening to you, Bet. President Trump confirms the United States military has seized this crude oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela after insisting for months now that the U.S. is, in fact, at war with drug cartels that are running these boats in the U.S. Southcom region. We've obtained this video that the Attorney General Pam Bondi posted on social media just a moment ago. You can see here during this seizure, she says the FBI, the Homeland Security Department, and Coast Guard executed this operation with support from the War Department. You can see here U.S. service members landing a military helicopter on this vessel before then disembarking and entering. The U.S. had issued a warrant, we are learning, for this crude oil tanker, alleging it had been used to transport illegal oil from Venezuela and Iran in support of foreign terrorist organizations. The seizure comes after senior officials presented the president with potential war plans and then deployed major Navy assets to the region. While the president himself declined to state a reason for today's seizure, which could very well constitute an act of war, he did say this.
Could we see American troops on the ground in Venezuela?
I don't comment on that. I wouldn't say that one way or the other.
Part of it is because in this case, President Trump says the victor will, in fact, take the spoils.
Where does it go? What port does it go to? Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're good newsman. Just follow the tanker. Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it true he's going to?
But we're going to, I assume we're going to keep the.
The U.S. military strikes on these alleged drug boats in the region have so far killed at least 87 people, a death toll that's become increasingly the focus of scrutiny on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers have zeroed in on this so-called double tap strike that was carried out on September 2nd. Now, yesterday, the Secretaries of State and War briefed key lawmakers on Capitol Hill about these September 2nd boat strikes. They indicated reportedly that they are at least considering the option to release the full unedited video footage of those strikes that day. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer told reporters after the briefing that Secretary Hegseth said to him they need to study these tapes before they make a determination. Brett?
Jillian Turner live at the State Department. Jillian, thank you.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
27 minutes now after the hour. It looks like we got another 80-20 issue that Democrats are on the wrong side of. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer threatening to confront Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and demand he release the classified footage of a September military strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean. But the tough-talking senator's threats seem to have fallen flat. Watch.
It was a very unsatisfying briefing. I asked Secretary Hegseth, Secretary of Defense Hegseth, would he let every member of Congress see the unedited videos of the September 2nd strike? His answer, we have to study it. Well, in my view, they've studied it long enough. Congress ought to be able to see it.
Same pattern over and over again. And speaking of tensions in the Caribbean, we just got brand new video of the U.S. seizing a tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirming the crude oil tanker was used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. Here's President Trump talking about it earlier today.
From the standpoint of news, as you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
I mean, guys, we have a lot to talk about here of substance because there's a lot going on, but aren't we seeing the signs again? Remember, they had to get Elon and Doge. They were nonstop. We got Doge. He's going to destroy the country. And then Epstein files. We got to get the Epstein files. Now we got to see the double tap strike from September 2nd. And they're going to keep on pounding it until Pete Hegseth shows the country that double tap strike. It's not that they're interested. They think they got something, as opposed to coming up with a policy to get Maduro out. Now, Greg, you have written a lot of foreign policy. You write for Foreign Policy magazine.
Yes.
Without pictures, which is very rarely for you to like a magazine without pictures. And your feeling on our policy in the region, are you happy the way this is developed?
I will be speaking on this before the Council on Foreign Relations next month in Geneva. I hope you do attend. If not, I'll try to get the notes to you after. Schumer is raging at his own failure. He just doesn't know that. Even the New York Times concedes this point. They didn't just drop the ball on illegal immigration. They handed the ball over to the millions coming in. And of the millions, there were thousands who were criminals. And they flocked here under this illusion of sanctuary cities, which was just an Airbnb for felons. They'll talk about, it's not about the policy, it's about the process. No, it's not. Their policy is to have no process. You couldn't get the Democrats to name a single illegal that they would deport. But then Trump wins, and now they go, well, okay, we understand now. But then what do? We spend, 6 weeks talking about the Maryland dad, who is a professional illegal alien. He's a felon. But you had Democrats fly to visit him in Central America. Again, that's not a process question. That shows you that their policy, their intentional policy, is to have open borders. They paused deportations. They killed the border wall. They suspended Remain in Mexico. That's a policy. That is not an argument over process. So this course correction that we're seeing under Trump, it may seem harsh to people, and in some ways it feels harsh, but it would not have been necessary if you hadn't put us on this course. You screwed the pooch so badly, we can't let you near the dogs anymore.
So, Dana, what he has said, Greg doesn't have time to elaborate at this moment because he's out of time. But what he's trying to say is Joe Biden cut a deal with Maduro. And he said, hey, I'm going to send Chevron in there. We're going to be able to drill. We need your oil because I don't want to drill. He's committed to this green energy policy. And then, of course, he just promised free and fair elections. He didn't have free and fair elections. The elections actually were free and fair, and he lost big time. And he stayed in power. So that is the mess that was handed over to Trump because he says, I can't tolerate this anymore because Hezbollah, Iran, Russia, China are all there, let alone Cuba.
Right, and so now he's got the region on its toes, and also if you think about what he's talking about, the Monroe Doctrine, going back using the Monroe Doctrine, and I actually have always believed that America has ignored our own hemisphere for too long, and you think about why do people all want to leave their countries and come to America? because the governance there stinks, because the corruption stinks. It's terrible. So more focus on these countries is a good thing. And the first thing you have to do is deal with the security issue and the fact that they're bringing drugs into the country. I actually think that the Trump administration would rather talk about this than affordability. They'd rather talk about this than healthcare, because the Democrats are able to get headlines and make some headway because I think they're
I like how Democrats keep talking about, oh, inflation is so high right now. That is the dumbest thing, bro. When it was 9.1% inflation, Kamala Harris came and said that inflation is very high because the economy is so good. And the same people wanted to vote her in as president. Can you imagine that? Can we really afford 4 years of a disgraced government on top of what Biden's administration did? Can we afford to have another 4 years of Bidenomics in this country? Think about that. If you happen to know any ex-MAGA followers, like some of the people we saw today, remind them of that. Why would you go back to Egypt once you were freed from Egypt? A lot of people don't know what that means.
Policies are wrong, but they at least are able to talk about it. The Republicans get tongue-tied when they start talking about health care. They have good ideas, but they don't talk about them enough. This actually is probably something that's going to be like an 80-20 issue when you actually start to poll it. It's not that people are going to want to see the double tap strike. I noticed that Schumer thinks that, okay, if you see it, then all of a sudden you're going to think that it's wrong. I think that people will see, I don't actually want to see it. I don't want to watch videos like that, but I do want to trust people, either like the president or somebody like Tom Cotton, who's the Intel chairman on the Senate side, saying that he believes everything was on the up and up and that it needed to be done. I think that Schumer is, again, falling into a trap of talking about something that the Trump administration is quite happy to talk about.
Hey, Jesse, it's the 13th briefing that Pete Hegseth's been involved in. This time we had Radcliffe was there, as well as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So what do you mean they're not briefing? They don't know what's going on. How many briefings do you need to know what's going on?
They've seen the video.
Yeah.
And they went in there saying it was a war crime, and then they left saying, so the story's over. This is such a bigger story. This Coke boat thing's the appetizer. Trump just said expect land strikes in Latin America. Trump just said Maduro's days are numbered, and then he said Mexico and Colombia better watch out. We just had 2 U.S. jets violate Venezuelan airspace, and we're seizing oil tankers off their coast. This is much bigger than one strike against a vessel. This is a huge change in American foreign policy. We are the biggest superpower of the world. And we can project enormous power all over the world, but we don't do it in our own hemisphere. And as of now, that has changed. This is now a goal to dominate Latin America. They have mineral wealth. They have oil wealth. And we have Russia and China screwing around there. And the cartels are so out of control that it's causing mass migration into the United States, which brings guns, it brings drugs, and it lowers American wages. So it is connected to the economy, and it's connected to power politics. And this is just the beginning. I expect next year we're going to be talking about war down there.
Right, possibly, unless Maduro does a smart thing and leave.
And he should. Apparently, they have this great estate for him in the Middle East where he can just hang out with his girlfriends all day and eat lobster.
Right. I think
what's wrong with that?
What about a cul-de-sac?
Better than being dead.
What about a cul-de-sac in Russia next to Assad? I think it's very nice.
Warmer in the Middle East. But
Jessica,
okay.
Your thoughts about the Democratic stance in this moment? How do you think they should be approaching it?
Well, it's not just the Democratic stance. It's Chuck Schumer and Roger Wicker, who's the GOP chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee. It's Congressman, Republican as well, Mike Turner. It's Senator Rand Paul. There were lots of people who went into that briefing and came out with a diametrically opposed read on it than Senator Tom Cotton. Admiral Bradley, who testified, said that the boat wasn't headed to the U.S. That was part of the predicate for this strike, that it was coming here and it was bringing fentanyl. It was bringing cocaine to Suriname, so actually in the opposite direction. The 2 men who were killed were clinging to a piece of wood like they were on the Titanic, right? It was like Kate Winslet out there.
They weren't armed.
Okay, well, there are other people. Jim Himes as well has said that. They didn't have any communications devices. They weren't armed, and there's no evidence that the cocaine survived.
Doesn't it sound like the
Mike
Maryland
Turner-
dad all over again?
But you know what? I do want to talk about the Maryland dad.
Of course.
Because the Maryland dad, you all sat here and you said you're out of your minds, right, for Chris Van Hollen going down there and you made up the fake story about the margaritas and whatever. And Democrats said, we want to talk about how people are treated who, first of all, have legal status. We want to talk about due process. And where did we go from there? We found out what the type of conditions are that people are being treated who were being improperly sent to CCOT, which we found out about American deals with Bukele, that we were actually forcing him to do this and wasn't comfortable with it.
No one cares.
We have found out now. You don't care, but Americans care.
Americans
Donald
don't
Trump,
care.
They
Country
do.
does not
Then why
care
is Donald
about a
Trump?
prison.
They care about their
Why is
relatives
Donald
dying
Trump-
from
why,
drugs.
Why is Donald Trump
They care
underwater
about their
on
jobs.
immigration
He's not
now?
underwater, Jen.
They
Yes,
don't
he
care
is.
about
You just
drug
don't like
dealers.
any polls that aren't
Did you
like.
know that the Coke boat strikes are the most popular foreign policy action that
Then
Donald
run.
Trump is
Then
taking?
run on it. No health care plan.
We
No
will.
affordability plan. We shoot random
That's what I-
people in the
that's what
Caribbean.
I
We're
just- that was
coming
my
up
point.
with a health care plan.
Oh, I'll be
We'll have it-
waiting.
we'll have it
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, I'll be waiting for that health care plan.
There's about 3, but they're all to fix Obamacare. Right. I know. Everyone, we are. Good luck. No one can do that, but they do have to do something on healthcare. I agree with you.
They're
on that.
riding on the
because
belief that you
Obamacare
can't
didn't
fix
work,
the
apparently.
problems they cause.
All right, guys.
Well, the U.S. is not the only country pursuing narco-terrorists. Tonight, senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcott shows us how other nations are now getting involved.
As the U.S. wages war against alleged drug trafficking boats, European countries are fighting their own narco boat challenge. Vessels laden with drugs, authorities on the hunt. These narcotics also come from Latin America, but cross the Atlantic. Many headed to the shores of Spain and Portugal, including a lot of cocaine, with a markup of many times.
I just want to point out the last boat that they shut down, the one that they're bitching about, the 2 survivors, I think it was. The Democrats were upset about this, especially because that boat was not in direction of the United States. It was actually in direction to the European countries. Well, look at that. They're having their own little war with dope boats. And don't they look very similar? Do you understand that? I'm sure they use small boats because they think it's harder to detect on the radar. But I don't think they understand technology has been upgraded a lot in the last couple of decades. In the last 5 years.
There has never been more cocaine produced in Latin America, and there's never been more demand for cocaine in Europe.
The drugs arrive in Europe via various means, like on cargo ships, illegal goods hidden amid legal fare. The growing transatlantic trend, so-called narco-submarines, small, custom-built, hard-to-detect, semi-submersible boats with drugs, a crew, packed in for weeks, crossing the ocean. Just last month, Portuguese authorities snagged one sub mid-Atlantic carrying 1.7 tons of cocaine.
It's mind-boggling, the level of sophistication, but it's all about the money and it's all about the risk.
European policy.
It's all about the Benjamins. Trust me, people, they don't care about us. Not you, not me. All they care about is their pockets.
Is to intercept, not destroy narco boats, arrest those on board, interrogations, forensic examinations, which can shed light on shady trafficking networks. Officials tell us they'd like to do more.
We need to be more muscular, that is, with more means, and a greater capacity for intervention, but, of course, within the rule of law.
Rule of law, according to the EU, means self-defense or actions sanctioned by the UN. But experts admit, despite their efforts, most potentially deadly drugs reach their targets.
And that's why we don't play games. That's why Trump is doing what he's doing. He has the balls to do what needs to be done, and no other leader has them. That's why NATO, it's quiet about Russia and Ukraine. Only Trump can take care of it. Now, you can make fun of him falling asleep. Shit, I was falling asleep trying to read your dumbass chats in here that come in. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the chat is very stupid. But, man, President Donald Trump is 30 years older than me, and he is still getting more things done. Even when he's sleeping, he's still doing more than every one of the libtards that come through my chat.
Not strong and you're not aggressive and you're not holding them accountable, they're going to continue to flourish. They're going to continue to grow.
One expert told us
Look at that. I didn't say that. He said that. Listen to the pros. Listen to the professionals. Listen to the experts.
Interdiction rate on those narco subs is about 5 to 10%. A lot of bad stuff still getting through all around the world. Brett.
Greg Palcott in London. Greg, thanks.
We have 3 countries sending drugs
The boss, right here.
to the U.S. Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia. And you talked to the president of Mexico. You already talked to Nicolas Maduro. Have you considered talking to the president of Colombia, who you call a drug leader?
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States, and I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't wise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories that they make cocaine, as you know, and they sell it right into the United States. So he better wise up, or he'll be next. He'll be next too. And I hope he's listening. He's going to be next. Yes,
Mr. President.
Because we don't like people when they kill people. And they sell drugs. They kill them in the United States. And Colombia is a major manufacturer of drugs, meaning cocaine in particular, as you know.
As President Trump doubles down on keeping America safe from narco-terrorists and their drugs, the leading Democrat in Congress sees it very differently.
I plan to demand Secretary Hegseth give the total, unedited videos of what happened in the September 2nd boat strikes. I will demand of Rubio and Hegseth what the hell is going on in the Caribbean and in Venezuela. What are they?
This guy wants to know what the hell is going on in the Caribbean, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on in his own country. Go do your job, old man.
Their plans.
So Schumer's big confrontation when he was able to be a part of the group of 8 to find out what the hell was going on in Venezuela. He didn't like what came out of it.
It was a very unsatisfying briefing. Would he let every member of Congress see the unedited videos of the September 2nd strike? His answer, we have to study it. In terms of Venezuela, I asked them what their strategy is and did not get satisfying answers at all.
That was going to be his response. And also, that's going to be the new Epstein files. He's going to need to see the second double tap hit. Fox News contributor Mark Thiessen joins us now. Mark, your reaction, because yesterday there was news in that it looks like we did breach Venezuelan airspace for the first time in a long time. So I don't know what we're up to in the big picture, but your thoughts about this, Democrats digging in, I guess, for narco-terrorists.
Yeah, where was Chuck Schumer's outrage when Barack Obama was doing it?
Here you
Donald
go.
Trump has declared the cartels foreign terrorist organizations. Barack Obama launched over 560 drone strikes against terrorists during his presidency, including one that killed an American citizen, Anwar al-Awlaki. He did double tap strikes regularly. I interviewed David Shedd, his head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, which was tasked with all the intelligence to carry those out. They did double tap strikes all the time. They did signature strikes, which are strikes where you don't even know who the target is. You just know that they're behaving in a suspicious way, and so you take them out. My understanding is we know who these people are in most of these strikes. So, you know, I don't. And Barack Obama said my actions are legal and they're necessary and they're right. And I don't recall Chuck Schumer ever standing before the cameras questioning Barack Obama. So he's something of a hypocrite here.
The president said Maduro's days are numbered to Politico yesterday.
We got any libtards in the chat at all? Any leftists in here that supported that from Barack Obama? Where is that guy that keeps saying Obama 2028? I want to see that. I want to see that guy in there. You guys heard that, right? You guys heard that? A lot of double tapping. It sounds a little kinky.
Today, how does he pressure him to leave? The guy does probably be able to go to Turkey or Qatar or somewhere. So how do we break the standoff stare down?
Well, I think President Trump understands that, you know, as important as these strikes are, you can't stop the flow of drugs into the United States by playing whack-a-mole. The problem is the regime. Venezuela is a socialist country, but its leaders are narco-capital.
I think it's fantastic. I support him 100%. 100%. Honduras needs all the help that it can get. You know what's really wonderful about the United States of America? That they allow people to get to a safe place like Israel. And not only that, but they are such big supporters to reconstruct, to rebuild that country that was being attacked because of criminals in those countries. I think Honduras' economy is about to boom if that happens.
They are all in the business of the drug trade, including Maduro. Maduro himself is the head of a drug cartel, and so you can't actually stop the problem until you change the regime. And I think Donald Trump is determined to do that.
Right. And he's got a reason. He declared the cartels foreign terrorist organizations, and that's what exists.
Exactly.
On Ukraine, President spoke about Zelensky yesterday. He's not frustrated with Putin. He seems to be only frustrated with Zelensky. Listen.
If Zelensky rejects this deal, like, is there a timeline? Is there a point at which you say, okay?
Well, he's going to have to get on the ball and start accepting things. You know, when you're losing, because you're losing.
Do you think Ukraine has lost this war?
Well, they've lost territory long before I got here, and it's very good land too that they lost. You certainly wouldn't say it's a victory.
And we went on to say that Zelensky should have elections. Mark, your thought about the 28-point plan, which is now a 19-point plan, Kushner and Witkoff and Rubio trying to get something done, and Dan Driscoll.
First of all, Donald Trump is doing more for Ukraine than Joe Biden ever did. He is allowing the Ukrainians to use U.S. weapons to strike deep inside of Russia, taking out their energy targets and other military targets. He's providing targeting intelligence for them to do that. And he's put oil sanctions on Russia that Biden refused to do because he was afraid to have gas prices go up. So Donald Trump has been the best friend Ukraine has had. He's frustrated because he sees tens of thousands of people dying every day, every month in Ukraine, and he wants to bring the war to an end. The problem is that the obstacle to peace is not Ukraine, it's Vladimir Putin. What needs to, in order for Ukraine to be able to start saying yes to some of the things we're proposing, there have to be very, very strong security guarantees. Ukraine cannot give up territory or be asked to do some of the other things that it's being asked of unless they know that that they're going to get the Article 5 style commitment that Trump has promised them, that they're going to get U.S. weapons, that there's going to be an international force of foreign troops patrolling the DMZ so that Russia doesn't start this war again, because that's what Russia does. Putin invaded under Obama, stopped under Trump, invaded under Biden, now might stop under Trump. As soon as Trump is gone, he's going to start again. So you have to create conditions on the ground for this not to be just a pause in the war, but a lasting peace. And I think that's what Donald Trump ultimately wants to do.
And just keep in mind, whatever Zelensky wants, it doesn't mean Parliament in Ukraine is going to say yes to. So the security guarantees are going to be key. So why just talk about giving up land while Vladimir Putin doesn't even come to the table? We'll see what Kushner and Witkoff are able to get out of him after their multiple meetings. Mark Thiessen, thanks so much.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno.
Well. So, David Blackburn, go ahead and tell us which one of those things were a lie. We will give you a chance to go ahead and put some comments on there. Hey, guys, I have a 13133 number on subscribers. So I want to thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. I'm always checking on everything that you guys do. I appreciate you guys' support. I really do, guys. And I thank you that more and more patriots are actually joining my channel. If you missed the beginning of this live, I recommend you watch it from the beginning so that you can see all the options available for illegal immigrants in this country. This is the way to do things the right way. Anybody has any questions? I know David. Go ahead. Tell me all of those things. One of them that was a lie. Tell me your truth. I want to learn. I want to learn from the pros. You guys know what time it is. Come on. We're going to wait for it. I'm going to give you guys a chance. We'll go ahead and hit our 2 minutes to put some questions or some comments on the chat. Take advantage. I will go ahead and give you guys a chance. 2 minutes. Questions on the chat. Something constructive, preferably. What you got there, Jason? They will block me very, very soon for the nickname Dum Dum Dennis, but laugh at Trump's nicknames hypocrisy. That is not what I'm talking about. Cartoon music for a parade of idiocy. Thank you, David. You have proven your idiocy. Ultra Collector says, my gas and electric gas going up $150 and our food bills are $90 to $120 more since August in a red state. Very, very interesting. Don't worry, 2026 is coming. I want you to come back and tell me, how did your refunds come about? Red state with the blue city. Makes total sense. $88 narco-terrorists have been neutralized. Over 300,000 Americans have been killed from narco-terrorists of fentanyl. It's actually over 800,000. Thank you, David, for showing me that your idiocracy, any of those, it's you. What about Bill Clinton? What do you think about Bill Clinton? You like him on the island as well? Luis, you're so full of hateful comments. I don't know when you ask a question. Plus, you're always on EBT, and you know YouTube takes no EBT, so you can't super chat. Come on, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Man, these guys don't take advantage. Two minutes of free questions, and they wasted all of it. You know why they wasted? Because they have nothing of value. They have no facts. They have no reasoning. Nothing of constructive criticism to give us. Nothing to teach us. Nothing that they have learned from every single fact that we have shared with them. Visuals, audios, common sense thinking, thinking outside the box. It doesn't matter which side we hit them from. They just don't understand. No wonder your symbol is a jackass. With that being said, guys, it's late. You guys think I'm a slave. I gotta be back tomorrow morning, and I get up before all of you guys do. Maybe not my seniors here that are with me tonight, but I do want to say thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. I hope that the information that we share was good information. Ozzy, Trinity, Brian, Omar, if he's still there somewhere. Thank you guys for being here with me. Renee, of course. Appreciate you. Pat Jager. All of you patriots that are with me. God bless you. God bless your family. And God bless the great US of A. You guys have a wonderful night. God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you for hitting the like button. See ya.